The only thing that makes sense for Kvadrenalen is to be non-partisan, and that's because there's not a single political party out there that's currently fighting for what the free arts stand for. If we look at how politicians talk about art and culture in the media, we can easily see that how they think about the arts fall in one of the next categories, and that's art is a non-issue. It's a non-essential part of society and governance. Art is something we are neither averse to nor favorable towards. Art can be used for the own political agenda. Art can be used to score voting points. And the perspective that Kvadrenalen takes is the opposite. It's that art is an essential generator of culture and by extension society. And that's not present in the current thinking. So let's back that statement up and let's see how politicians talk about art and culture in the media. First up, actually, we got a great shout out for art and culture in September by the former party leader of the Social Democrats, Göran Persson. And he would like to see the next Social Democratic party leader to have a strong interest in culture. So why do I take that as an example? Well, because he's actually saying that they don't have it currently. And earlier this year, also on the political left, another former party leader called Jonas Sjöstedt, party leader of Vänster, he kind of voiced the same message in Dagens Arena as Göran did, but it turned out to be a much more surprising confession. He gave it a good shot, but to be honest, he starts off on the wrong foot. So he calls for a boycott of the cultural war, but he builds his argument quoting Astrid Lindgren, saying, "What if there was a war and nobody shows up for it?" Great quote, but there's a fundamental error there, because the premise states that the war is already there, meaning the ones that started it are already on the battlefield and they're waiting. So when you say, let's not show up, you're actually saying, let's forfeit, let's surrender by forfeit, let's surrender without putting up a fight even. Now, we get it. Jonas Sjöstedt is taking the perspective that it's a trap. Unfortunately, the observations he makes in his debate article are really correct, but they don't add up to the conclusion he makes. So he writes that he's seen the culture war come from the right over and over again and again. The pattern is clear, it's recognized. But he adds something very potent. He says he has never seen anyone from the left that's actually interested in the question. So same sentiment as Göran. But let's take a look at that pattern that he identifies. And we've seen it too throughout history, both recent and past. Just check the rise of right populist thinking in Belgium, Poland, Slovenia, Hungary, and even here in Sweden. So yes, the right-wing populists always bring the culture war over and over, again and again. We know that. That's not the whole pattern, is it? The rest of the pattern is also clear. And that's the obvious fact that the center and the left never do anything about it. That's the frustration of the art field. So if you're a politician and you've seen this pattern appear again and again and you're frustrated by it, that actually means you know it's coming, right? So why don't you prepare for it? Why don't you stand firm and protect what needs protecting? And it's not art and culture, that is the government's smallest expenditure. It's the democratic values of freedom of expression, equality, tolerance that the free arts represent. It's actually the only area of governance of society where populists show how unethical and undemocratic, and in our context, how un-Swedish their thinking is. On all the other areas like economy, climate or housing, rents, they tend to talk a lot more moderately. So if there is one and only one battle that you need to show up for, this is the one, because the cultural battle is the key to the war to safeguard democracy. Now, enough about the left. There were other voices talking about these cultural battles as well. And in July, both the centre and Swedish Democrats, representing the political centre and political right, had a little go on Svenska Dagbladet. Now, Jonas Nadebo from centre, he attempted to stand up for the current cultural policy goals and tries to point the finger at his political colleagues of Swedish Democrats, stating that it's them that want the Stockholm City Cultural Committee to actually endorse cultural projects with a focus on Swedish culture, norms and values. So that's great. You're identifying the ones that are picking the fight, but we knew that one already. The thing that interests the art field is What are you going to do about it? Now, there came an immediate answer from the Swedish Democrats through Peter Wallmark to address these allegations and to actually state the vision of the Sweden Democrats on vision on art and culture. It's an exemplary retort, one that also follows a pattern that you can see pop up again and again, namely the connection between art and taxes. Wallmark states anyone who claims to create art with the help of tax money should promote and beautify the everyday for the general public. So they want to choose what they pay for, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, except they want to make the choice for everyone, and that's the issue. And he also ends strong. He says, "We have come to the end of the road with the current cultural policy. It is high time to try something new." So in all this war talk, what happens in the actual trenches? Meaning, what does it mean to the artists and the art-loving public? Now, the right-wing populists, they want to revisit culture policy and choose what they pay for. The centre believes the policy is good, but they don't know what to do for it. And the left either has no interest or they lack the knowledge and appreciation for the arts and culture. The pattern is clear. Politicians entitle themselves to speak for art and culture with ulterior motives to score voting points. Even when they say they are not interested in the arts, that's also to score voting points, to show they are only working on matters that truly matter. Now, what truly matters is actually keeping the game fair and democratic. It's not rocket science. When a populist attacks the culture policy goals of Sweden with personal taste, that is undemocratic thinking, because it puts the personal taste of one before the taste of the many. That's the epitome of elitism, and it goes against the heart of democracy. Now, democratically elected politicians serve at the will of the people and not the one, and that's the thing that needs to be fought here. So to the right, no, you actually don't get to claim all the taxpayers' money for the beautification of the everyday for some, because there's a lot of voters there that actually enjoy the critical arts or Metskunst or even plain ugly art. And it's not about personal taste. When you spend tax money of the many people, it's about equal distribution. And to the middle, if you want to expand your core, the middle ground, the common for everyone, you need to get interested. To the left, when you give up on defending democratic values that fall under attack from elitism, then you're becoming too distracted in this spectacle. So yeah, KVADRENNALEN is non-partisan, because when artists tackle politics, the goal is to bring art